Super Typhoon Matmo has slammed into southern China, tossing trucks and cars through the air like paper. With gusts exceeding 190 kilometers per hour, the storm has left a trail of destruction in its wake, generating waves up to 10 meters high and triggering a national emergency in the provinces of Hainan and Guangdong. The main impact occurred on the morning of October 5th, 2025, when Matmo, officially classified as the strongest typhoon of the year, made landfall on Hainan Island. Hurricane-force winds and heavy rains transformed the coast into a zone of total devastation. Meteorological authorities confirmed that the storm reached Category 15 on the local scale, becoming one of the most powerful tropical systems recorded in the region in the last decade. Central pressure has remained extremely low, intensifying the effects of the storm. Within hours, the coastal region of Hainan, was directly hit by the eye of the typhoon. This event coincided with high tide, generating a storm surge that pushed large volumes of water inland and caused flash flooding in multiple urban areas. Initial reports indicated that numerous fishing boats were destroyed or sunk off the coast of northern Hainan, where waves reached unusual heights and winds exceeded the structural limits of most vessels. The torrential rains, combined with intense gusts, turned coastal streets into veritable rivers. In just 12 hours, accumulated rainfall in Hainan exceeded 300 millimeters, and in some areas reached 480 millimeters, collapsing urban drainage systems. But the worst was yet to come. After hitting Hainan, Matmo moved northwest and entered Guangdong province with winds still exceeding 150 kilometers per hour, spreading the emergency along China's southern coast. Zhangjiang was the first city in Guangdong to report significant damage. Main roads were quickly flooded, cars were left floating, and trees were uprooted, affecting traffic and ground communications. The regional power grid immediately collapsed. More than 2.3 million homes were left without power, and telecommunications were severely affected. The signal disruption hampered the coordination of rescue teams. Air and rail transport was also suspended. In Guangzhou, Baiyun International Airport canceled dozens of flights, while high-speed rail lines halted operations to prevent accidents. Local authorities reported that ferry services and commercial ports in Guangdong and Hainan remain closed until further notice, while navigation conditions and damage to maritime infrastructure are assessed. Continued rainfall and accumulating water created new risks. Hydrological stations reported rapidly rising river levels, increasing the risk of flooding in low-lying communities and agricultural areas. However, the situation worsened further. In western Guangdong, landslides blocked national roads and highways, affecting the transport of supplies and access to rural communities. Railway lines were also disrupted due to mud and rock slides on the tracks, forcing a complete halt to rail traffic in the hardest-hit areas. The Ministry of Emergency Management deployed more than 10,000 rescuers, along with 300 specialized vehicles and 50 helicopters, to respond to the disaster areas in Hainan and Guangdong. In addition, Army units were mobilized to support cleanup efforts, clear routes, and transport supplies to areas isolated by flooding and landslides. Authorities reported that, as of the afternoon of October 5th, at least 14 people had died and more than 100 were injured, although the number is expected to rise as communications are restored in isolated areas. Rescue operations have continued continuously, prioritizing the restoration of electricity, the opening of main roads, and the distribution of drinking water to affected communities. The central government has declared a state of national emergency in the most impacted provinces. Temporary shelters have been set up in schools and cultural centers to accommodate displaced families. Weather conditions remain unstable. Experts predict that the rains could continue for several days, increasing the risk of compound flooding and further landslides. According to the National Meteorological Observatory, Matmo continues to move inland across China at a lower intensity, but still bringing significant rainfall to Guangxi and Yunnan provinces. The typhoon is expected to reach its peak between October 5th and 6th before gradually weakening, although aftereffects will continue to be felt over the next few days in large areas of the south of the country. Meteorologists confirmed that Matmo is the strongest typhoon to hit the region since 2014, driven by above-average ocean temperatures that favored its rapid intensification. The China Meteorological Administration issued a Level 1 emergency alert, the highest in its warning system, and ordered local authorities to maintain maximum vigilance until the extreme conditions subside. Health and emergency services in Guangdong and Hainan are working at the limit of their capacity, treating injuries from landslides, accidents, and objects thrown by the wind. Electrical and telecommunications maintenance crews have begun repair work, although terrain conditions make access to the most damaged areas difficult. Despite the magnitude of the disaster, preventive evacuations have significantly reduced the death toll, according to preliminary reports from regional authorities. In total, more than 80,000 people were evacuated from coastal areas of Hainan before the typhoon's direct hit, although some remain in shelters due to the risk of further flooding. Forecasts indicate that, although Matmo gradually weakens, the risk of extreme rainfall and landslides will persist throughout the week in southern China. For now, the country faces a complex recovery process from one of the most intense storms recorded in recent years, which has tested the response capacity of authorities and the resilience of the infrastructure along the southern coast.